Most men fail not because they are weak, but because they expose themselves too early. They shout their plans, reveal their hunger, and alert the world to their ambition. And when the enemy knows your desire, they will sharpen their blade against you. But what if you could advance without ever being detected? What if your enemies only realized your intent when it was already too late to stop you? This is the problem we will solve: how to live like the wolf, feared not for its presence, but for its unseen approach. In every kingdom, every court, and every battlefield, there are predators who rule not by strength alone, but by cunning silence. Men are loud, desperate to prove themselves, but those who endure know the greatest power is not in noisy, it is in concealment. Today, I, Niccolò Machiavelli, shall reveal to you the silent strategy of the wolf, an art that will teach you how to move unseen, strike without warning, and rise without resistance. In a world intoxicated by noise, the wolf remains silent. While lesser creatures announce their every movement, the wolf glides through the forest with purpose, every step measured, every breath deliberate. Its silence is not born of fear. It is the mark of mastery. The wolf understands what men have forgotten, that power whispered is power multiplied. For when you do not speak, no one knows what you think, and when no one knows what you think, you cannot be predicted, manipulated, or destroyed. Observe the fools of this world. They crave attention, they bleed their thoughts in public, and they mistake visibility for strength. They tell the world their ambitions, believing that being seen is being significant. But each word they release is a thread of control handed to others. They are undone not by failure, but by exposure. A single careless sentence, a hint of intent, and their enemies prepare their counter long before the battle begins. The wolf does not suffer this weakness. It moves unseen, its silence a fortress that no arrow can pierce. When you practice silence, you create mystery. Mystery is not emptiness. It is the shadow that makes others uncertain, forcing them to fill the void with fear or respect. Men fear what they cannot understand, and respect what they cannot read. The man who speaks constantly reveals his nature. The man who withholds his thoughts forces others to guess. And in that guessing, they expose their own minds. They talk to fill the silence. They confess to earn your reaction. They reveal themselves while you remain concealed. This is how the silent man dominates without motion. He provokes confession through restraint, power through absence. Every leader who has ever ruled effectively has known this truth. The great princes of Florence, the generals of Rome, even the cunning merchants of Venice, they understood the art of silence as a political weapon. The loud man wins applause, the quiet man wins dominion. The loud man needs validation, the quiet man requires nothing but time. When the wolf stalks, it does not boast. It listens to the wind, the rustle of branches, the breath of its prey. It collects information without revealing presence. So too must you learn to listen with intent, to study without revealing your judgment, to allow others to expose their hearts, while yours remains locked behind an expressionless face. But silence is not merely the absence of words. It is the orchestration of restraint. It is the decision not to act when provoked, not to defend when accused, not to explain when doubted. The fool rushes to clear his name. The wise man lets suspicion serve his purpose. Silence in such moments breeds uncertainty, and uncertainty is the soil from which influence grows. Those who cannot read you will project upon you. Some will think you wise, others will think you dangerous. Both serve your cause. The wolf uses silence not to disappear, but to control perception. Its silence commands attention. You must understand that silence bends reality. In every room, people will notice the one who speaks least, but watches most. His restraint will make others uneasy. They will sense something he knows that they do not. They will begin to fear that behind that calm stillness lies a deeper understanding. The wolf never needs to roar to be feared. It only needs to look once, to move once, and that movement becomes legend in the minds of those who witnessed it. When you master silence, your presence becomes heavier than noise. Even your enemies become your informants when you stay quiet. Speak too soon, and you reveal the path you walk. stay silent, and they reveal theirs in trying to find yours. In silence, you learn the truth about everyone around you. You see who grows nervous, who seeks approval, who tries to fill the void you leave. Their words become windows into their soul. The wolf does not need to ask questions. It observes, and every tremor in the forest speaks the answer. But silence demands discipline. It is not easy to resist the urge to be understood, to defend, to react. Yet, this is the price of power. The man who cannot control his tongue cannot control his destiny. Every word you speak limits your maneuvering space. Every confession creates a chain that binds your freedom. You must learn the pleasure of withholding, the elegance of mystery, the satisfaction of knowing more than you reveal. Let them misinterpret your silence. Each misunderstanding strengthens your position. Those who live in silence live above the noise of men. They are invisible architects of fate, pulling strings without ever standing in the light. The wolf hunts not because it is seen, but because it is forgotten until it strikes. Its silence is not absence. It is patience, precision, and dominion. The man who adopts this creed no longer seeks to be heard. He seeks to be inevitable. And when his moment comes, his voice, once silent, will echo louder than 1,000 empty tongues ever could. The wolf survives not only by strength, but by deception. It wears the forest as its cloak, its fur blending with the shadows, its presence hidden in plain sight. To the untrained eye, it is invisible, ordinary, unthreatening, until the moment its fangs flash in silence. Power, too, demands this same camouflage. Those who wish to rise must learn the art of appearing harmless, while harboring dangerous intent. The clever man hides his sharpness beneath courtesy, his ambition behind humility, and his intelligence behind obedience. The world loves appearances, and the wise man rules through them. Consider this truth: men fear what they can see, and they destroy what they fear. If your power is too visible, it provokes jealousy and opposition. But if you disguise your strength, if you let others believe you are mild, harmless, or even foolish, they will never guard themselves against you. The wolf that looks like prey moves freely among predators until the hunt begins. So must you learn to move within the world, covered not by armor, but by illusion. Let your enemies believe they see your true nature, even as you conceal your real design behind a pleasant smile. Disguise is not deceit, it is survival. The greatest rulers, the most cunning strategists, the most dangerous minds, all have worn masks. The mask of loyalty hides the hand of ambition. The mask of weakness hides the will of conquest. When you wear the right mask, you are not merely protecting yourself, you are shaping the perception of others. And perception, not truth, governs the world. The wolf does not argue with the sheep about its nature. It simply walks among them until hunger calls. You must do the same. Do not announce your intentions. Let them believe you harmless. When they lower their guard, victory becomes effortless. Disguise begins with understanding your surroundings. A wolf adapts its coat to the landscape. It does not fight against it. Likewise, adapt your behavior to the court, the company, the battlefield you inhabit. Among warriors, speak with courage. Among scholars, speak with reason. Among fools, speak with ignorance. By mirroring the tone of those around you, you disarm suspicion. They see themselves in you and feel secure in your presence. But behind that mirror must stand calculation, not sincerity. The world rewards those who seem to belong, but only the disguised survive long enough to rule. The art of disguise is not only about how you appear, it is about knowing when to appear. The wolf reveals itself only when the odds favor it completely. Until then, it watches, hidden among trees, studying every pattern. You must learn to study men the same way. Watch their habits, their weaknesses, their desires. Let them believe you are uninterested in power, while quietly building your influence through observation. The fool speaks of his ambition, the wise man buries it beneath layers of civility. To disguise oneself is to master timing. You cannot wear the same mask forever. Each stage of power demands a new form. In youth, humility will protect you in ascent, obedience will shield you. In dominance, generosity will mask your control. The wolf's disguise changes with the season. It sheds its coat when the snow melts. So must you adjust your image as your position strengthens. Too much silence and you vanish. Too much presence and you provoke fear. Balance is the key. Reveal just enough to be trusted. Hide enough to remain unpredictable. Your disguise must never feel forced. Authenticity is the greatest illusion. When you pretend, do it so naturally that even you begin to believe it. The man who plays a role without conviction exposes himself. Study your mask until it fits your face perfectly. When you speak, let sincerity drip from your voice. Even as calculation fills your mind, the wolf does not think, "I am hiding." It simply exists as part of the forest. Its camouflage is instinctive, not effortful. Your disguise must reach the same level, habitual, unconscious fluid. There is beauty in invisibility. To walk through crowds and be seen as ordinary, while knowing the power you carry is a form of ecstasy, reserved for the cunning. It is the pleasure of the hidden blade, the satisfaction of the unseen influence. The world underestimates you, and in doing so, it hands you freedom. No one attacks the man they pity. No one fears the man they mock. The wolf invites laughter, and when the laughter fades, its prey is already bleeding. You will notice, those who succeed too visibly are destroyed by envy. Those who rule quietly remain untouchable. Power revealed too soon gathers enemies, like fire attracts moths. But power concealed within charm, humility, or even incompetence, this is the power that endures. The wolf does not roar its arrival. It lets the forest whisper of its legend after the deed is done. Let others waste their time trying to appear strong. Their pride will expose them. Their vanity will betray them. Their need to be seen will become the weapon that kills them. You will remain behind your mask, unseen and unprovoked, your claws sharp and your mind untouched by the gaze of others. The true master of disguise knows this. The moment you are noticed, you have already lost control of the illusion. So remain the wolf in sheep's skin, the shadow behind the smile, the calm voice hiding the storm. The wolf does not chase every movement in the forest. It waits. It listens. It studies the rhythm of life around it, until the right moment reveals itself. Patience is not weakness. It is the highest expression of power. The man who acts in haste is like a wolf that lunges too early. He startles the prey, wastes his strength, and ends the hunt empty. The wise man learns from the wolf. He waits not because he cannot strike, but because he knows that timing decides victory more than strength ever will. Most men are slaves to impulse. They crave immediate results, quick rewards, and fast recognition. They act without calculation, driven by emotion, not strategy. Their desire for speed betrays them. They attack when unprepared, reveal their intent too early, and expose their vulnerabilities before the battle has even begun. The wolf never falls to such foolishness. It can stalk for hours, for days, even for weeks, its hunger rising, its instincts burning. But it does not move until the odds bend entirely in its favor. That patience is what guarantees its success. And in this same way, every powerful man must learn to suppress the urge to rush. There is strength in waiting. Every pause builds tension, every silence draws curiosity, and every delay increases the weight of your eventual action. A hasty man spends his power too soon. A patient man multiplies it. The wolf knows that one perfect strike is worth more than 100 chaotic attacks. In life, your victories are not decided by how quickly you move, but by how precisely you choose your moment. The impulsive man spends his future defending the consequences of his own impatience. The patient man chooses his timing and never needs to defend at all. Patience, however, is not mere inaction. It is an active form of control. The wolf does not sit idly in the shadows. It studies. It learns the habits of the herd, the weaknesses of the prey, the shifts of the wind. Its stillness is not silence. It is preparation. The same rule governs those who seek dominion in the human world. You must observe every rival, every opportunity, every movement within your reach. Do not act because you are eager. Act because every variable has fallen into your hands. You must see what others miss, because you were silent long enough to notice it. The world reveals its secrets only to those patient enough to watch it unfold. In the courts of power, The impatient man exposes his hunger. He moves too soon, reveals his intentions, and invites opposition. The patient one conceals his motives, letting others play their hands first. He studies their moves, learns their patterns, and only then, when all pieces are in plain sight, does he act. By the time others realize his intent, he has already claimed the prize. The wolf waits until the prey is isolated, tired, and vulnerable. You must do the same in your pursuits. Strike only when your target has exhausted its defenses. Impatience is often born from fear. The fear of missing the chance, of being left behind, of losing momentum. But those who fear waiting lose control over themselves. The wolf fears nothing in waiting. It trusts the inevitability of its nature. Likewise, when you know your own capability, you can afford patience. The strong do not rush, only the insecure do. Each delay sharpens your advantage. Each moment of observation arms you with knowledge that the impatient man will never have. There is an art to withholding action until the exact instant when it will create the greatest impact. In politics, in war, in life, those who move first often serve those who move last. The first to attack exposes their position, their resources, their weaknesses. The last to strike chooses the terrain, the timing, and the terms of engagement. The wolf does not join the chase. It lets others tire themselves out in noise and confusion, and then emerges from the darkness to claim what remains. True power is never in movement. It is in waiting until all others have moved. The patient strike requires more than calm. It requires discipline over emotion. Anger, greed, and pride are the enemies of patience. They whisper to you that now is the time, that hesitation means cowardice, that silence means defeat. These lies are the traps that destroy men before they even begin. The wolf does not respond to such emotion. It listens only to necessity. It knows that emotion clouds judgment, and judgment determines survival. The ruler who acts in rage loses the kingdom he built. The warrior who acts in ego falls to the one who waited in silence. Every empire that ever rose in strength did so through patience. No throne is claimed in a single night. Every deception, every alliance, every betrayal requires time to mature. The wolf hunts through shadows unseen, unheard, until every element of the hunt aligns perfectly. And when that alignment arrives, the strike is swift, final, and absolute. There is no warning, no sound, no struggle, only the inevitable collapse of the unprepared. That is how patience becomes lethal. To live as the wolf does is to learn the balance between hunger and control. Hunger gives you drive. Control gives you precision. Both are necessary, but only one must rule the other. If hunger rules, you strike blindly. If control rules, you strike perfectly. The wolf carries hunger in its belly, but its mind remains cold, detached, methodical. Its instincts scream to attack, but its discipline forces it to wait. That conflict within the creature, between desire and restraint, is what makes it supreme among hunters. The man who learns this same control becomes unstoppable. Not because he moves quickly, but because he moves only once. And that once is enough. The greatest danger to power is visibility. The moment you are seen, you can be studied. The moment you are studied, you can be predicted. And what can be predicted can be destroyed. The wolf survives not by constant presence, but by mastering the art of invisibility. It walks among trees, hidden by shadow and silence, its existence known only by the aftermath it leaves behind. The wise man must learn this same discipline, to move without trace, to act without noise, to exist without detection until the strike is complete. Invisibility is not the absence of action, it is the perfection of control. In a world addicted to exposure, invisibility has become the highest luxury. Men reveal their lives, their plans, their ambitions, desperate to be noticed. But the one who remains unseen possesses an advantage they will never understand. The unseen man cannot be attacked, cannot be envied, cannot be sabotaged. He is the ghost within the system, watching while others destroy themselves for the sake of attention. The wolf does not compete for recognition, it competes for survival. It does not need applause, it needs dominance. The moment you no longer need to be seen, you begin to rule. Invisibility begins with knowing when to step back. There are moments when the wise man allows others to take the spotlight, to carry the weight of visibility. Let them argue, let them posture, let them reveal themselves. Every man who speaks too much builds the map to his own downfall. The wolf lets the noise distract the forest, while it maneuvers silently toward its goal. When you master invisibility, you turn the chaos of others into your camouflage. Their noise becomes your cover. While they draw attention, you draw advantage. To be invisible is not to vanish. It is to exist so naturally within your surroundings that no one questions your presence. The wolf does not force the forest to hide it. It simply belongs to the forest. In the same way, the powerful man blends into the world around him. He adopts its language, its habits, its values. Outwardly. Inwardly, he serves only his own design. He appears ordinary, even forgettable, while quietly constructing his dominion. Men remember those who make noise. They never suspect the quiet architect who built the foundation beneath their feet. Invisibility demands mastery over ego. The craving to be acknowledged is a trap disguised as triumph. It invites scrutiny, comparison, and eventual sabotage. The man who needs validation exposes his weakness to every watchful eye. The wolf has no need for witnesses. Its strength does not depend on applause. Likewise, your power must not depend on attention. When you act unseen, your victories carry no resistance. When your rise is silent, your enemies do not know where to aim their weapons. You must learn to find pleasure in secrecy, satisfaction in the unseen progress, and joy in the knowledge that no one knows the extent of your strength. Control is the essence of invisibility. To disappear at will is not about running from the world. It is about deciding when and where to appear. The wolf is not always hidden. Sometimes it steps into view to instill fear or command respect. But even in those moments, it reveals only fragments of itself. It shows just enough to shape perception, then returns to the shadows before it can be fully understood. The same principle applies to the game of power. Reveal only what benefits you. Speak only when your words serve a purpose. Withdraw when your presence invites threat. Each appearance should feel calculated, each disappearance deliberate. Invisibility is not about hiding. It is about choosing visibility as a weapon, not a weakness. You must understand that those who remain unseen command the unseen forces of the world. The most influential men are not always the ones in front of the crowd. They are the ones pulling the strings behind the curtain. The wolf may not be the loudest creature in the forest, but its silence dictates the movement of all others. Learn to control events without attaching your name to them. Influence decisions without leaving fingerprints. Let others believe they are acting freely, while they unknowingly carry out your design. When the results emerge, they will never trace them back to you. That is the true security of invisibility, the freedom to act without consequence. The invisible man listens more than he speaks. Every whisper, every reaction, every emotion in others becomes a clue. Because he is unseen, people grow careless around him. They speak freely, they reveal their thoughts, they underestimate his awareness. The wolf benefits from the same arrogance in its prey, the belief that danger exists elsewhere. The moment people stop suspecting you is the moment they become vulnerable to you. To be underestimated is to be protected by the ignorance of others. Invisibility ensures that ignorance remains eternal. Even in victory, the invisible man remains hidden. He does not boast of his success, for that would call eyes upon him. He lets the world attribute his triumph to chance, luck, or the mistakes of others. The wolf leaves no signature on its kill. The forest itself seems to have swallowed the prey. This absence of evidence is what grants lasting power, for when no one can prove your hand, no one can strike it. You exist in every shadow but belong to none. You influence every battle but fight in none. You win without ever stepping into the arena. The shield of invisibility is not an escape from the world. It is the art of mastering it. Those who live loudly burn quickly. Those who move silently endure through generations. The wolf's survival is proof that the unseen often outlives the visible, that the whisper outlasts the roar, that power unseen is power unopposed. Power is not seized through noise, but through precision, patience, and silence. The wolf teaches what men forget, that strength without subtlety is fragile, and ambition without secrecy is fatal. To move unseen, to wait without fear, to disguise your intent and strike, only when the moment bends entirely in your favor. This is the essence of enduring power. The world praises those who shout their victories, yet it is ruled by those who whisper their plans. The wolf does not announce its hunger, it does not reveal its path, it acts, and the forest falls silent in its wake. Be as the wolf, silent in preparation, unseen in movement, inevitable in triumph.